Good morning. Today I'm going to take the Fiat to work in the office in Manchester. It's not far. I don't know, it's roughly about 12 miles or so. Probably take me 4 hours the way the traffic is, but I'll let you come along with me. As I keep saying on this channel, these cars to be used. Classic cars are for everyday use, not just for classic car shows and nothing else. I mean, if that's your thing, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but they're still a car. They're still built to do a job. And even though I don't need to use it for work, I've got a modern car if I want to. If I get the chance, I always try and take one of my classics. It's just more interesting. Especially today with the way the traffic is and you just stood there the whole time. You go in a classic car, it's an event rather than something that's to be tolerated because you have to do it for your day job. And while we're on the trip, I might as well tell you a little bit about the Fiat and the reasons why I bought it. I keep meaning to do a walk around video, I'll do that one soon. Normally I have to apologise, no, I look like I'm wearing my summer gear, which I am. Normally I'd wear my suit. Yes, I am the last person in the world who wears a suit with a tie. I'm not the owner of a tech firm where I want to swan around, hey look at me, I'm one of you, I don't wear a tie. No, I'm just a normal person. So, as we're stuck at more traffic lights, I might as well tell you a bit about the 500. So it's a 1970 Fiat 500F. The F stands for fun and definitely not fast because it's only got 18 horsepower. I think the earlier ones had even less, so you can imagine what that's like. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't need. And you have to remember this was created 2 years before the Mini came out, 1957. This model, and to be fair, other than the doors facing the other way, it used to come with suicide doors originally. I don't think that much has changed to it. I mean, they might have improved little bits over the years, I don't know, but it's such a smart design, very well engineered, minimal use of materials, which is, I think, car manufacturers today could take note of that. It's very easy to drive. The seats are really comfy. Well, they're comfy now. I refurbished them, but they're very comfy to drive. Good back support. I mean, there's no adjustment. You can always just move your seat forwards or backwards, and that's about it. And I think you have to remember people are a little bit shorter in those days because it is very small. And you don't get a lot of lot of room inside them. But then again, it was designed to take Italian families off their little Vespa scooters and into something with at least a bit of meat round it. So you imagine, having your little children on or your baby on your scooter with you while you're bobbing along somewhere. Not really health and safety, is it, by today's standards? Neither is this for that matter, but at least it's well, technically a 4-seater. It is on paper anyway. I have actually sat in the back. It is a squeeze, but it's doable, and if you open the sunroof, it doesn't feel too hemmed-in, shall we say. But it's really comfy, like old cars. It's got donut tyres, so they absorb a lot of the shocks, as do the seats. And to be fair, the way the roads are today, you need a car like this. You can keep your 22-inch rubber band wheels and tyres that pick up every single pebble and every single nail and everything else. These absorb all the bumps, the potholes, the endless digging up of the road by the council and then putting it back and then digging it up again. And all that, tram linings and everything. These cars, like a lot of classic cars, same with Beetles, Morris Minors, those kind of cars. Oh.
Trying to show automation. Will it select?
For some reason my radio came on all by itself. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Oh. That's strange. Anyway, where was I? So it's a marvel of design, and remember after the war there was a lack of metal, which is why there's a sunroof in here. I mean, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube or online telling you the history of these cars. I mean, I don't know everything about them. They are probably one of the cutest cars on the road. They are tiny. They really are tiny. I'm pretty sure those Nissan Micras from the early 2000s were based on this kind of look, as a lot of cars were. Those Nissan Micras from the early 2000s will run forever, incidentally. And it's just got everything you want. Let's get round this bit of roadworks. Generally, when you drive a classic car, on the whole, people are usually pretty good to you and they give you a bit of leeway. If you're in a modern car, they take no prisoners, but in a classic car, generally people let you off with stuff, and if you're a bit slow, which this is, or you know, I think they understand. At the same time, they appreciate the fact they can see something like this on the road. The number of times I've had people come out and say, "Excuse me mate, can I take a picture of your car?" And I went, yeah, and you sat there in the middle of the road. Obviously it's a little bit unnerving when you got some random stranger walking up to you in the middle of a road while you sat at traffic lights. That's always a little bit unnerving, especially in some parts of Manchester. But no, it's you can tell, shall we say. Anyway, right, going back to this car. So why did I buy it? Well, I've had classic VW Beetles and all the vans, air-cooled vans, all my life. I started to drive in a Beetle, and I kind of just fell into air-cooled cars. I just love air-cooled cars. They're just so simple to work on, and they're relatively cheap, well, to run. In fact, you'll spend more money on oil than you will on petrol, because they do leak oil. Air-cooled engines just have a habit of leaking oil more so than any other type of engine that I'm aware of, that I know of. But anyway, and I've always liked these, and if you've had a Beetle, at some point in your life you're going to want one of these, because it's just a low-fat Beetle basically. It's a fraction of the size. It's half the size, half the cylinder count in the engine. It's only a tiny two combustion engine. And my first Beetle was a 1971 1200 basic, which is kind of the same equivalent to this. And that could barely pull skin off custard. In fact, I used to just rest on some journeys, I'd just rest my heel on the accelerator because it was just easier and more comfortable than just ramming it down, because it'll find its own speed, and it took forever to build up. But it got there in the end, and this is similar. This one though, the trick is I'll show you later on, you've got the speedo marks, the gear marks. You've got up to first gear, up to second gear, and up to third gear marks on there, so you don't over rev the engine. Pretend you're an Italian racing driver in Formula 1 or something. Are you driving a Ferrari? You've got to rev it up to those gears. Don't go past them because you explode the engine, but rev it up to that to build up your momentum, and you'll be fine. And if you've watched some other videos about this car, and recently I fitted a sports exhaust. Well, I say sports exhaust, I mean, I don't think there's anything remotely sporty about it, other than it looks cool and it's got twin pipes and it's a bit louder. But it does let the engine breathe a bit better. And it is got a tiny bit more torque to it. These cars, you don't want speed, you want torque. So if you've got one of these and you've got the bog standard pea shooter exhaust, ditch it and get yourself a a better exhaust. I'm pretty sure that it's stainless as well, this one, or at least parts of it are stainless, because the black paint has burnt off already and it looks like stainless tube underneath, so I'm hoping it will be, and I'm hoping it lasts. So yeah, so I've liked it. I've never had a Fiat 500. I've mostly had British classic cars, Wolseley. I've got a Bentley at the moment, or Bentley Classic, which I think you've probably seen on the channel. I use that as well. But for city driving, this car was built as a city car, or town car, whatever you want to call it, just for short hops, and it's absolutely perfect for that. I mean, today I never drive it on the motorway. It'll just kill it. It's a shame. Not really the reason. You'll get the whole front will get pepper dust with stone chips for a start. You can get up to 50. I've had it up to 55 downhill on a motorway, but it's when you come back up the hill the other side, that's when things you're lucky to struggle to get to 40. So honestly, you don't want to be creating a hazard for other drivers, and it's not fair on a car like this. I mean, I don't even drive the Bentley on the motorway when I'm going to work. I'd prefer to drive through town, partly because it's just more interesting, because motorways are really boring, aren't they? And just treat it gently. It's a very old car. It's survived this long. I mean, this one's been fully restored in the 90s. Can you believe it? The paintwork on it is superb. I think it's had a bit of a charmed life. Looking at the records, information I was given when I bought it, spent about 7 years at a Fiat dealership in Cornwall, so I'm guessing it was just sat in the showroom being endlessly waxed, which is why it's not pink like your average Vauxhall after 2 years, or most red cars these days. They kind of go fade, don't they? Go pink. And this one hasn't. So obviously there are issues with cars that have been parked up a long time, and I always prefer to have cars used. I'd rather buy a higher mileage car that's been used than a car that's just been sat around doing nothing, because you've got other issues which in some ways are more difficult to repair, are more expensive to fix than something that's been used. If something's used, everything has to go through the hot and cold cycles, stop-start cycles, and generally those cars survive better. And I am biased, but all the air-cooled VW cars I've ever had and vans, uber reliable, super reliable. I mean, years ago when they were phasing out 4-star petrol, yes, I'm that old, you kids might have to Google that one, 4-star petrol. Everybody was worried about, well, not 4-star petrol, sorry, the lead in petrol. Everybody in the classic scene was panicking, thinking that's it, that's the end of classic cars, they're all going to die off, all the engines are going to explode. Well, they haven't, still here, still going. I mean, the engines do run slightly hotter on the newer fuels, but there are ways around these things. And to be honest, it's the parts supply that's the problem, or rather the quality of parts. The quality of parts is absolutely shockingly bad these days. It's the parts that are going to kill the classic cars, not petrol, not lack of lead in petrol or whatever, or even petrol for that matter. In Mexico and Brazil, because they have large sugar plantations, they run their VWs, their Beetles and vans, old air-cooled vans, on alcohol rather than petrol. There's no reason why we can't do that anywhere else around the country, other than the fact that you have to grow sugar beets. But in terms of sustainability, there are always ways around these things. It's just down to whether companies are willing to invest in that. But I'm getting a bit serious there and going off a little bit at tangerines. You'll notice I do that a lot, sorry. Fiat 500, right, so It's dead easy to work on. I've never worked on one of these before I bought it. I found a manual online, to be fair. I haven't looked at it. It's a very simple car. If you've worked on a Beetle, you'll be right at home with this. You'll marvel how, compared to the Beetle, how little is on this car. The Beetle is extremely well engineered, overly engineered car. It is. I always say, if I was ever to do a trip around the world in any car, I would take my Beetle, the one I've kept all these years, my second ever car, because I trust it, because they're extremely well made cars. And that one in particular, because it's a 1300 Deluxe, it's got extra chrome on it. It can actually hold motorway speeds. I've had that one on to about 80, 85 at one point, which was a little bit scary in a Beetle, but I've never had a Beetle that can hold on to those kind of speeds. So that's a bit of a special one. That's why I've kept it all these years. But yeah, so the 500, you didn't even get a mirror with these. I had to bought a little mirror. The other annoying thing is because it's they're quite expensive, because it's a bit of a small market, shall we say. Well, outside of Europe anyway, Italy. You can get all the parts. Most of the parts are still made in Italy, which is such a refreshing change, because a lot of stuff is just, it's just made in the cheapest country they can get away with, and the quality is shockingly bad. And the panel fit is pretty terrible as well. But on this, all the parts I've got are from suppliers in the UK that only have only sell Italian parts. So I'm not sponsored by any of these. Autobella, Ricambio, FD, Ricambi. I think there's a couple of others as well. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But they're all, I'm pretty sure they all get the parts from the same places, because they all look remarkably similar. Some are just slightly better than others. And on the whole, the quality has been superb. So I'm really pleased with that. Another traffic jam. So I fitted a radio, I fitted an amp. And a top tip, do not fit them under the bonnet. I think the bonnet, I'm guessing the environment's too harsh for it. I think it gets too hot in the sun. I've had 2 amps go under there, and I'm guessing it's that rather than the quality of the amps, because they were pretty supposedly good branded ones, and they both went pop, which I'm a bit annoyed about. So I bought a cheapo generic AliExpress one for 34 quid. Which I've just fitted under the passenger seat instead, and that's got better sound than the fancy brand name ones. I think my days of buying really top end stuff, decent stuff, are gone. Except when it comes to things like tools and stuff, because some of the tools now are absolutely shockingly bad quality, unfortunately. But anyway, so I fitted just a cheap radio. I put a Fiat sticker on it, so it looks a bit Fiat-ish. I've got 2 speakers in the back. There's really no room in this car for fitting like a decent stereo anywhere where it's easy enough to get to. I keep thinking about getting a cup holder somehow. I did make a little under dash area to put the radio in and put the phone in, so it's got somewhere to charge. I might actually extend that and do something with it. And what else? I've retrimmed the interior. If you're into your VW Golfs and GTIs in particular, you might recognise this fabric. It's out of a Golf GTI style. I just wanted it tartan kind of look to make it a bit more, make it look a bit young, well, older, if you know what I mean, a bit more kind of 50s, 60s look, which is my kind of favourite period, because it came with some really dreadful black and red seats that covered in material that was just pretty terrible, really cheap quality. So I've retrimmed all of that. I've retrimmed the door panels to match. Top tip, if you're buying patterned material like this, take your time lining everything up, or you'll end up messing up the pattern like I did and having to redo it, which is no fun when you've been sewing for hours and you realise you've sewn it the wrong way around, or you've cut the wrong material the wrong side. Well, that's the joy of DIY, isn't it? Doing these things yourself. But, you know, have a go yourself. Don't just keep buying stuff off the shelf. Have a go at trimming. Have a go at servicing your own car. Have a go at painting, welding, maintenance. All these things, for me, when I started driving, were because I couldn't afford to pay for anyone or anything to be done like that. I had to do it myself because I had no choice. I needed a car for work. And as time has gone on, and I don't really need to do that much anymore, it's kind of turned into a bit of a, I don't know, hobby you could call it, but also it's pretty good for your mental health, classic cardom. I mean, it's no fun when you break down, it's really stressful, but you get that with any car, don't you? You could be driving the latest Lamborghini and that could break down, and on a Friday night in Manchester traffic at a busy road junction at 5 p.m. It's just the law of the universe. So it doesn't matter whether it's that or whether it's a car from 1970 like this one. But I have found, because I work in IT, I have found I know quite a lot of people in the IT industry who like things like classic cars and have classic cars and things like that, because no computers. It's a way of switching off. And it's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? It's better than sitting watching TV or all day long, or being on a computer at home all day long for the same reason. Anyway, we're just skimming the outskirts of Salford, and we're not too far from the centre of Manchester. I think a lot of kids are off school today studying because it's their final exams, GCSEs. My daughter's doing them as well, so I think that's thankfully why the roads are a lot quieter. I'm not sure what they're going to be like when we get home, but let's see. So I've got a new roof for this car as well. You can buy just the fabric or just the individual parts, but not knowing what I was dealing with, I just thought, I'm not going to mess about, I'll just buy a whole unit with the frame. I've got to fit that as well because this roof is really old and it's stretched, and you can hear it flapping in the wind sometimes, which can be a bit irritating. Although admittedly the thing on this car that really is bugging me and I've not managed to fix yet is the gear lead, the gear stick. Sometimes rattles and I can't find a way of stopping it from rattling. It's where the lever goes into the slide, the guide if you like, in the tunnel where the universal joint is. It's metal both sides, obviously metal on metal. I mean, I'm wondering if there's like a plastic part maybe should be on there and it's missing, I don't know, but I've put really heavy duty thick grease on it and that kind of worked for a few months. I hate rattles on cars, it's one of my absolute things I can't stand. Even on an old car like this, the Bentley has 0 rattles and that's 10 times the size and more opportunity for rattlage, I want a better word. Oh, there's a pub there called the Black Friar, and they've put some really cool bee-inspired, obviously Manchester bee, decorations on the outside and look really good. Oh, I like that. I've not been down here for a while. I originally wanted this Fiat to be in the white. I really do like them in white. And this one originally was white when it came out of the factory. It's a proper right-hand drive UK car, it's not an import that's been messed with. and someone's resprayed it this colour. I've spent ages trying to figure out what colour this is, and by coincidence I found out the other week when I was doing the exhaust. I think it's Ferrari red. So I bought a tin of Ferrari red heat shield, high temperature paint, some work I was doing at the back, and it's a pretty damn good match, so that's a bonus. I'm not really a fan of red cars, I'll be honest. I've never owned a red car, but I am so glad that this is red because it is so tiny. I mean, there's a modern Mini behind me and it looks like a huge tank compared to this. Because people don't see it. So having it in bright red, I think from a safety perspective, is actually really good. And that is something, if you are going to use your car every day, or like me, you know, not necessarily every day, but use it as a car, not just as a classic. So one of the things you do need to do today, I know some people will be like, oh, but it's not original, and well, so what? What price originality against your safety? Put LED lights in them. I was a convert to LED lights, I don't know, must be about 8 years ago now. Best thing ever. The brighter, the safer. Lights on old cars are like candles, they're worse than candles. And you generally have a dynamo rather than an alternator like this one does. And people just don't see you. I mean, I've got my lights on now in the daytime. It's for safety, not for any other reason. So LED lights all round. I mean, you can probably get away. Leave your indicators for now, because LED indicators won't work with the old style relays unless you get like an electronic relay, which I have for this car, but I've not got around to changing it yet. I'll wait until the bulbs go and then I'll probably change it. Or you can put a resistor across them and that'll take the load, but those resistors get really, really hot. Be careful with those. I'll probably do a video about all of that at some point as well, just to show you how to do it. It's easy enough to do. Right, so just on the ring road at Manchester. I've been working in Manchester and living outside of Manchester my whole life. It's a great city. I'm not so sure about all the building work they've been doing recently with this just endless tower blocks. They're like trying to make it into like Manhattan or something. I mean, no, it's not Manhattan, it's Manchester. But anyway, and the worst thing though is they've closed half the roads off and try and reduce the traffic, which I can understand why they do it. Obviously I'm biased because I'm a driver. But they're actually choking the city even more. I mean, look at that. The problem is, who can afford to live in them? That's the thing. I'm guessing you'd get lots of overseas investors buying lots and lots of them up, which is all very well, but people can't afford to live in them. But Manchester is good. It's of all the cities in this country, in the UK, I think it's the one that's really, after years and decades of underinvestment and everything's like London centric, which it is in the UK even today, it's good to see that Manchester is way ahead of the game and lots of other cities. Its time is finally come. So I still love coming here. particularly in a nice little bright red Fiat 500. Right, anyway, just a quick one about safety then. So the Fiat 500 has lots of lovely features. It's got a self-cancelling indicator, which is unusual. My Bentley hasn't got that. It's got a pad there for your knee, which is probably pointless. It's got a steering wheel that's just a bit further away from your chest in case anything was to happen. You've got a bumper at the front and the back, which is I don't know what that's going to do, but you know, it was 1957. They didn't worry about stuff like that in them days. But this one came with seatbelts. Now, these are normal inertia reels, which I had in the garage for another car. So I fitted them. They had the lap belts. I can't stand lap belts. They're just a faff. And what else? It's got central locking. I can reach both the doors from the driver's seat. Sunroof because they had to save money on metals, so they thought let's just stick a bit of fabric in there instead. But it's cool because, you know, it's the sunroof, and even though it's not that sunny today in Manchester, it's been glorious weather all weekend, surprisingly, all week. And then the one day I decide to drive in, it's looking a bit like it's gonna rain, but never mind. It's always glorious sunshine when you're driving this car, when it's so bright and colourful. There's still some lovely architecture around Manchester. And then they go and build these massive tower blocks that I've said just everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm just going to build a tower block, it's alright, yeah, it's fine. Right, let's see if anyone lets me out or not. No, not today. I really hope Manchester isn't going to be like London. Sharpen your elbows. You know what I'm talking about, Londoners. Especially in cars. But people are so impatient these days. So yeah, so there's a spare wheel at the front in the Fiat. Petrol tank in the front, just like a Beetle. Engines in the back. It's a very simple air-cooled engine. Gear change for a crash gearbox is very, very good. You don't need to double declutch. You just slide the gear into the gate very slowly, and by the time you've done that, generally the engine revs and the road speed match, and you can. It's very good. I was quite impressed with that because I was thinking, oh, crash box. I'm not really great at double declutching. I don't think I've got the patience for it. So in that respect, it's really good. The other thing sometimes, when you've driven a classic car for a few years, you kind of know when something's a bit, I don't know, sometimes things don't sound as good as you want them to. So always stay on the inside lane if you're like an Enduro carriageway like this one. Just in case, you never know. I mean, old cars inherently are more reliable than modern ones because they don't have all the electronics. They're just very simple, so there's less to go wrong on them. But generally when something goes wrong, it usually is something simple, like an earth lead will come off or a pipe will fall off. And it's just, a lot of it is just down to age, really. Something you haven't spotted, something you should, you know. So if you service your car at home, there should be no reason to worry about it when you're driving somewhere like I am today. Anyway, we're not far off now, so I'm gonna sign off for now, and I'll catch up a bit later on, okay? See you later. Right, made it to the office. There he is, little chap. A little car in a very big car park. Right, off to work. Catch you later. A bit weird looking building, looks a bit rusty. Maybe they've done that on purpose. Now I could have gone down there, but too many cobbles, I think. Oh, these lights stay on for about 3 seconds. That's not good. Just going to go down Liverpool Road, past the Science Museum. Worth a trip there if you. There's a lot of interesting things to see there. Still got the old railway yard and parts of it from when this used to be part of one of the main railway routes around this area. Now, let's see if I can squeeze through. Yes, can. Haha. Can't do that in a modern car, could you? I do like the way they've done this railway bridge, how it winds down like that I'm not so sure about the rust look though. I think a bit of paint on that would have probably looked better, but you know, each to their own. I also like the way they've covered over this multi-storey car park with that facade. Just nice little touches. I mean, it's better than just looking at concrete buildings, isn't it? Traffic's starting to pick up a bit now. And the rain's starting a bit more as well. I generally try and avoid taking this car out on rainy days for, well, obvious reasons. But sometimes it doesn't matter. I've waxed it to death, I've treated it, wax oiled it. As long as you keep looking after them, it should be alright. Incidentally, if you're interested, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, it's on my own money. I've kind of, last few years I've started using turtle wax, hybrid, ceramic products. I've gone through all the phases of expensive waxes, then they're really super fantastic and the car looks absolutely amazing. Frankly, you come to a point in your life where you think, why should I spend 40-50 pounds on a tub of wax when you can buy something that does something similar for about a tenner? I'll do some reviews of those. And I've coated this in a turtle wax hybrid wax, whatever it's called. I'll find it when I get home. And tyre shine, and it's really good. I mean, you can see there, it's still nice and, what's the word? Not bobbling, but beading. That's it. Well, the rain's just beading off the top. Also been using Rain-X all-in-one, where you just spray it on. It's got alcohol in it to clean the screen, and then the Rain-X, when that dries off, the Rain-X is left, and then you polish it off. And that's what I've got on all my classic cars, or all my cars actually, because barely need to use the wipers, especially on old cars where the wipers aren't as great. This one's only got single speed, which is slow. And it just saves you a lot. It stops the thing wearing out, if nothing else. And in bad weather, it's just a bit of extra safety, because, you know, old cars, the visual aids are not particularly great compared to today. There's no, well, it is actually demisting on this, actually, if I'm honest. I can just turn it on and just adjust the vents to point up, and they're actually quite good. But yeah, so products like those are really, really useful. And, you know, I'm getting on a bit now. I don't have enough hours in the day to spend forever polishing, waxing stuff. It's just, there's too much to do. So I'll do some reviews on their products. Again, I promise you, I'm not sponsored by anybody. This is all my own hard-earned cash. If it's rubbish, I'll tell you it's rubbish. If it's good, I'll tell you it's good. Well, I'm not too far away from home. I just wanted to show you that classic cars can be used just like a normal everyday car. Yes, they have their limits. What is he doing? Yes, they're not as safe as a modern car. Yes, they're slower than a modern car. Yes, they leak oil and rust and bits like that, but you can't beat them for personality, character. I know it's just a machine, but there's something about them. And even though this video is probably only going to be very short for you, for me, it's a normal day, a normal drive, probably about an hour and a half each way to work. I've been lucky today, it normally can take 2 hours. Just wanted to show you this, you know, it's a real car. My channel's not sourfaux, my channel is proper sourdough. I'm not making any of this up for the sake of content. I genuinely have used my classic cars, old cars, for the last 40 years of driving. to and from work. My VW camper van, 1973 model. I used to do 130 miles a day in it for 4 years. Super reliable. Bob down the M56, which is the most boring motorway in the country. Watch all the BMW and Audi drivers in the outside lane trying to kill each other doing 100 miles an hour. And I'm just bobbing along in the inside lane at 60, 65 all the way to work. And I'd still get there the same time that they do without the stress. Obviously the only downside is the heating wasn't great on those, but you know, you can fix that as well. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this little video, a little insight into daily classic car life. Don't forget my other channel, Rusty Bottom Workshop Travels, if you want to look at some travel videos that I've been. I don't always go in classic cars and those, I've gone in my modern cars as well. But cars are for travelling, cars are for transportation, that's what they are. New or old, go and use them and enjoy them. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.